Morning. I haven't had a shower yet. I've been just finished editing the last 2 days' video, and I am in the middle of doing housework as well. So I've just watered all the plants and got a little bit distracted. Some of them needed a bit of a trim back and a repot, so I've done those. I've put some cuttings into little bottles. I'll show you those a little bit later. And yeah, so I just need to vacuum. Really, vacuum, make bed, clean the bathroom, done a bit of stuff in the kitchen, tidied up the lounge. So yeah, and then I might pop into town. I've got a couple of things I want to do, a couple of books to return, and yeah, so we'll see how we go. Got my steak pie and I've got my chips and some asparagus. But yes, this is a yummy steak pie just for Kelly. Light coming out of that is pretty bright. I always get really phlegmy after I eat like hot chips. Anyway, been to town, then had a lovely cup of tea with my friend I haven't seen for ages. Bought some jeans, you don't need to see those. Oh, it's yuck. So I thought I'd show you what I got from the Salvation Army because I needed to fill in some time before I went to visit her. It's inside out. I haven't even tried it on, but I can't even tell. No, excuse me. Holy moly. Anyway, it's very deconstructed, but I quite like the way it looked. So it's like that. So you know it's got the cold shoulder, funny holes in the straps, and then the back has got that. Bit risque. If I wore it to work, I would definitely be wearing a tank top underneath. The kids would have so much fun looking at my bra strap and tattoo on my back if I wore that to work. But it's quite neat. What brand is it? By Taylor. That's all it says. And it's a medium. So I thought that was alright. I paid $8 for that. And then, I'm sorry, I always get plenty after hot chips, even fish and chip shop chips. I've always had a thing for porcelain balls. So, is that one? So I paid $4 for the 3 of them. So is that one, and that one. I've got a few sitting up on some antique scales I've got in the kitchen, but those ones there will just look quite pretty. I might just pop them in here in my little candle display. I don't know if you can see that. And oh, that pretty my throat. And then I got this. Oops. And I thought this would be nice. So this was $6. It's a handmade pottery by Paul Walsh, Pies Pa Tauranga. But it's got a little thing for your spoon, and I guess some people would probably use it for sugar, but we don't have sugar in our drinks here. So my idea is to put some salt in it, because you put too much salt out and it gets moisture. And I'll just have that like a little salt pig next to the stove. The colour is just gorgeous. I hope you can see that. That light that's shining from my phone is giving me a headache. And then I got a ring. And that's a sterling silver ring. This is all from the Salvation Army. There you go. Isn't that pretty? So I'll give that a polish up. It's quite nice. I'm going to have to stop this soon. That bright light is getting me. Woo. Oh, a leather. This is taking me back to the days of my youth. It's like a leather bracelet-y thing. But that's quite cool. Because I quite often wear crystal bracelets. And silver earrings for $3. And I think these are silver because they look like ones that I bought from a shop and I lost one. And I have a feeling that the one I lost matches this one. Because these are, they look a bit the same, but they're actually, oh, hang on a minute. Oh, no, they are the same size. We were looking at them in the shop. It's because, someone had been, oh, I've just got like lights flashing in front of my eyes from staring at that. Why the lights? It must be because I'm in a dark spot. So they are the same size. I like hoops. So there you go. I'll give those a clean and I'll wear those. So that was my stash from the Salvation Army. I used to be a massive op shop buyer, but my mental health went downhill. I just stopped going into town. So last month I've felt more and more like going out and being around people. So that's good. All my fire's going well. I'll show you my fire. Don't judge the mess around the fire. It's freezing outside. It's so cold. So I'm going to do some spinning in a minute. I will separate the... Let me just open this so I can see what I'm showing you. I'll separate the roving into 4 strips, and I'll show you how I do that if you want. I did have a lady ask me the other day on, I think it was on my podcast, about how I spun it. So I will show you how I do that, and then I will have a little bit of a spinning session because we've got fine weather forecasted for tomorrow and Monday, so those will be my days outside. Now hopefully I don't get a headache after having that bright light shining in front of my face. Right, so this is the roving that I dyed up. So I'm just going to, it's all dried now. So I find an end. You can kind of see it's already got sort of a line where it looks like you could divvy it in half. So I just find that line and then I do this. Whoops. Oh, it's hanging on that plant. I don't do that. So I divide it in half. And oh, it's actually a bit damp in spots, so I probably won't do any spinning for a little while. I'll have to, I'll knit on my M-cow. See, it's a bit wet there. Then I'll grab this and I'm just going to go in half again. And the idea is that they should be roughly the same weight. This hasn't worked as well as it normally does. I'm making a mess. And I'll just bundle it up. I think it's because it's still a bit damp actually. You need to go like that. Let me just, so that's half there. It's coming off that one. And then what I'll do is I'll weigh it. I'll weigh them, and then I'll try and keep two together. I keep them sort of separated according to weight, if that makes sense. So I want them roughly to be 50 grams each. I think there's 104 grams I dyed up. So yeah, 52 grams for each bundle. Right, so let's try and get this in half reasonably even. Where's a natural? Well, that looks like a kind of a natural split. I'll just do that like that. Yeah, there's still some, just where the low point of where they were hanging, it's a bit damp. Like that. And they're so pretty. So I'll weigh them once they're dry. You can see it's like a fluffy little cloud. And oh, that one's hanging on the candlestick. In fact, I'll pop these in front of the fire. It won't take long. Just a couple of little damp spots on there. So there you go. That's what they look like there. The light's not that great. So there. I'll put those in front of the fire. And I'll go and do my MCal and watch some TV. I may be recording. Holy moly, it's been a while since I've been in here. My coffee. Your coffee.
Thank you.
And some special stuff.
Excellent.
So we've got asparagus and mushroom and potato and carrot and onion quiche and pickled cabbage. And I grew that cabbage in my garden. I wish you all a very good night. And I'll see you tomorrow. Morning, morning. Got a lot. Oh! The bird was just having a little hangout in my compost bin. This, people, is what I've got to deal with today. A lot of weeds, but you can see that's all raspberry, and normally you can walk through there. So I need to work it out so that I can, what I'd like to do is create like a berry arch. So see what I can do. But I am going to have to dig up some of these new ones. They'll have to go somewhere else or give them away. So yeah, I'm going to get the weed eater down there. I'll go down the other end and show you what I'm doing. So I also have to clean up in here. That's my mum's car, which needs a wash. It's been sitting here and it just gets covered in dust. And I guess it's just been something quite hard to deal with, not wanting to look at it. So I need to tidy up the wood heap. These are all things that just need to be thrown out, I think. That's the other end of our tunnel. So we've got, hang on, this is what depression looks like, and fibromyalgia. There's a lot of stuff to get rid of. So I'll go through, I'll pull the big weeds by hand, then I'll do some weed eating to tidy up. It's going to look really good. I had boysenberries in here at one stage, and they are suckering up again. They were so thorny, they drove me nuts, so I got rid of them. This is thornless blackberry. It's lovely. So it all needs a good tidy up. This is Jess's room, so I'm trying to talk quietly. There's just a bit of water lying around, so I need to get rid of all that because there'll be mosquitoes. Okay, this is our progress shot. Well, our before shot. I'll go and get me tools. So it's 9:15 now in the morning. I'll show you the progress down the side shortly. So I've just pruned all those thorny shoots off the orange tree. I'm going to get the pruning saw and cut it off at the base there where you can see it's sticking up there. And then this tree here was all overgrown underneath. I'd like to be able to walk through that gap, but there's a couple of branches that are thicker than my pruners, so I'll get the pruning saw out shortly. Compost is loaded. That there is all the raspberry suckers that are pulled up. A lot of them still have roots, so I'll see if anyone wants those. So coming down here, still haven't picked it, it's not finished yet. I've got to pick up all these pots and stuff, move them somewhere else. So I've tied the raspberries back further so it's more like an arch. Got quite a few bits of fruit on there actually. You can see that. I've weeded around my strawberries. And I've taken tons of weeds to the compost. So I'll go and get some pea straw today, and I'll put that around those, fill them up a bit more, and I might grab another couple of plants. I've given that, or taken all the dead water off the blackberry. Just given this a rake. Didn't really need a weed eat. And yeah, just cleaned up in here. That just all needs a water blast, but yeah, there's a few other bits to do, but that is the progress so far. And then I've got to tackle that. Look how red my face is. I've just had a shower. I've got to take Jess into town shortly. And so I thought while I'm there, I'll go to Bunnings and I'll get a few things for the garden while I'm there, and then I can come back and get changed back into my dirty clothes and carry on. So I thought it's time to have a cup of tea. Got my cup of Dilmah tea in my C cup that Evan's mum gave me. Oh, that's nice. Oh, I feel good doing that. I feel really good. You know, I think the last time I tackled that corner, I keep looking at my face. Last time I tackled that area down the side properly was the summer Mum was diagnosed with cancer. So that was summer 2019, 2020. So it was the last time I gave it a really good clean up. I've been in and done a few little ones since then, but nothing real major. So hopefully I can maintain it. It'll be good. Looking forward to all those berries. Just have to see if somebody would like some raspberry suckers. I don't really have anywhere else on the property to put them. I don't really need two areas. I could put another bit further down next to the blackberries, the thornless blackberries, but at the moment I'm still dealing with suckers from the boysenberry, so until I can get that under control I don't really want to add another plant to the mix. So yes, so I'm going to have this little cup of tea, probably leave in about 10 minutes. I've got to go and get some petrol and pick Jess's friend up and then drop them off. I'll try and get a sneaky shot. She looks gorgeous. We've got a wine and food festival today. I don't know if I told you about that. So she's going to that, and she looks absolutely beautiful. I know I might be biased. I did say when she was born, you know, newborn babies can be, you know, I used to think newborn babies were a bit ugly. And everyone laughed at me because when she came out and they put her in my arms, I said, oh my God, she's so beautiful. She's not just because she's mine, but she is actually really beautiful. She was a beautiful newborn baby because she was quite big and she wasn't all wrinkly. Yeah, she was lovely. But anyway, I'll finish my cup of tea and I'll have a little scroll through Instagram, and then you'll see me when on my next mission. See how we go. So I've had my trip to Bunnings. I've got some straw for my strawberries, a few more strawberries, those ones were marked down, varieties of chili, and just that was marked down, so just deadhead all the little flowers. I thought that was quite pretty. And some compost. So I'm going to put this compost into this bed. Just going to chuck it down this end because I need to plant some tomatoes and the chilies down this side. I want to keep the tomatoes away from the potatoes. So I'll go and put my gloves and I'll do that. I'm wearing my earbuds and I'm a bit out of breath, so there's going to be a lot of heavy breathing. So, being back out here, so I've cleared as much as I can, and I'm trying to throw in some of the mulch that we did over here and here. And I've moved this scrappy yellow tarp and just covered some areas that I just want it to kill down. I'm going to have to find something to do with this. That wood is Hebe wood, and we tried mulching it and it was jamming the mulcher. That's how rock solid it goes when it's dried. Had a little weed around here. Let's pick up my tool. Gone underneath the table there. I just raked all underneath there. Stack this wood in the wood pile. That's all got to go in the compost. But yeah, I've cleared under the trees. Need to rake underneath these ones here. It all looks a lot tidier under there. I need to dispose of that stuff into the compost. That was all Alstroemeria tubers. Never ever plant those things again, I tell you. You can't get rid of them. Tomatoes have perked up a little bit. They were a bit sad when I first put them in because they were a bit dry. So we've got capsicum yellow banana, chili Cheyenne, that's a habanero, and it's another cayenne. This whole area before we put the beds in was planted in chilies one year. Evan just went mad and planted chilies. Oh, I've got to pick the broad beans. There's heaps ready. So yeah, I'm just plodding away. I feel really good. I feel really good. Everything's taking shape, and we can hear the cicadas for the first time this year. I don't know if I mentioned that in a video before. I did do a video and realised it wasn't recording. And I meant to say, the reason why you guys can hear a hum in my outdoor videos is because we live next to a power station. You can see through there. Let's have a look, see if I can get closer. I can get closer. Let's go through here. There we go. And so that's why in the middle of nowhere there's 4 houses in a row. So it's like suburbia in the wop wops. And that's because these were powerboard houses and their workers lived in them. And they were built in the 30s. So it looks like a mess, but it's getting there. I wanted to plant the lime tree in that corner there, so I might do that. And yeah, I'm just going to walk around, pick up, tidy up. Yeah, there's a few things. I would love some lovely chamomile or something to be growing in this area around here, but guy that does our lawns just doesn't listen. So I said to Evan, I don't want him using spray. I don't want him using spray around the edges of my gardens because it blows onto the plants. Like, he's paid to weed eat and do the lawns. That's not our fault if he wants to, if he's finding the weed eating too hard. It's what he gets paid to do. But Evan's too soft. So anyway, he finally said something to him. And I was home one day and he says, now where do you, just to make sure, where do you not want me to spray? I said, if there's a garden, don't spray around it. Okay, and then he did. He actually sprayed in a garden once because there was kikuyu growing in it, but I had bulbs underneath it. I was like, just bloody leave it alone. Grumpy, eh? Oh, it's so warm. It's lovely, but it's not, there's a nice cool breeze. And I'll put some sunblock on because, oh, hang on, I'll show you what I look like. Pink. With my mum's hat. It's my mum's hat. Yeah. So we're getting there. Getting there. Feels good. Hello, it's now, what's the time? Mid-afternoon. Just had a call from Evan and he's decided to finish his day for work, so I'll quickly tidy myself up. I'm going to go and meet him at one of our country pubs, and it's very old, well, for New Zealand old. Have a steak meal. Jess is not going to be ready to be picked up until later, so take you along, I'll show you what it looks like. It's quite cool. It's an original old hotel. Not too far away. So I'll be there soon. I'm back, and as you can see, I'm back at home. So I got over the bridge and down the little side road, because it's a country pub, and I realised I'd left my card at home. So I had to do a U-turn And I got stuck behind a bloody big fat tractor. Like, it really should have had a pilot vehicle in front of it because it was that wide. It was taking up part of the other lane. So it was a little bit slower to get home. And then, as just before I pulled up, my phone pinged. And I checked it and it was Evan texting to say, pub's closed. So it was quite funny. So you won't get to see the pub today. So our revised plan is that I'm going to... Oh, sorry, you've got the sun. My big sunglasses. When Jess wants a ride, I'll head into town and might just get some Turkish takeaways. So that'd be nice. My washing's probably dry, actually. Shall we see if that's dry? The sheets are dry. And these tops, yeah, they're all dry. Should really pull them in. Oh, I feel really good. I feel like I've achieved lots today. Tomorrow will be just the finishing touches.